When you say, I'm not as good at step 5 as I want to be, but the reason I was in step 1 was this reason and this reason and this reason, we say, blah, 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 blah. That's not helpful. So say it in a way that's helpful. I like to be aware of whether I'm in a step 5 or a step 1 moment, and both are okay. I just prefer step 5. Here's the difference. When you're in a step 5 moment, that means you're already tuned in, tapped in, turned on, because you practiced the receiving mode in step 3 and step 4. Now you've got the momentum going. So you're tuned in, tapped in, turned on. And now what you're receiving is the perspective that your inner being is having about the very contrast that you are now witnessing. And your inner being, first of all, adores the contrast. Next of all, realizes the value of it. There's no resistance then. It feels good. This is how contrast feels good. Can you imagine you're a painter and you've got your palette of paint and they're all lined up on the palette, and here's your canvas over here, and there's all this variety, and you say, oh, no. I do not want all this contrast. I choose one color. Well, what a limiting painting that's going to be. That's not going to be a satisfying painting at all. Contrast is variety. Resistance is something else altogether. And step 1 moments often are those resistant moments where you make some of the contrast unwanted and push against it. And so instead of it going away, it just comes more. Where a step 5 moment is realizing that there's contrast and you can choose from it the colors of the palette that you want. Well, a lot of you are too much in your head. And part of that is because as you come into this teaching and you want to be a deliberate creator, we've talked about so many things and you're trying to do them all at once. What we really want you to do is to realize that you took care of it in step 1 and we took care of it in step 2, and now it's time for you to just chill and find out what you can let in. And stop trying to justify the good that's coming to you through the behavior that you're offering. And most of all, stop paying attention to what anybody else thinks about what you're doing. And we are so good at our job. You should see the steady attention that we have on what you want, and you should see the cooperative components that have come. There's enough in there to keep you happily, joyfully unfolding for 20 or 30 lifetimes. It's big, awesome stuff in there. We can't convince you that you deserve being happy. You've got to show yourself that you can be, and then just be it in the next segment and be it in the next. Esther discovered that she could not just be happy, she could be joyful in her closet getting ready. And then she discovered that she could be joyful in her editing of the recording for the twice monthly. And then she discovered that she could be joyful in her gathering her clothing and taking it to the dry cleaners. And then she discovered that she could be joyful in putting fuel in the car and getting it gassed up. She discovered that there's not joyful things to do and not joyful things to do. There's just under the influence of joy, and therefore what I'm doing is joyful, or not under the influence of joy, and therefore what I'm doing sucks. There are people on vacation at the swimming pool fighting with each other. You've just got to play with it until nothing else will do. You've just got to have enough joyful moments. One of the early things that would come up in gatherings like this, people would say, as we would encourage them to meditate and allow their vibration to rise, we would say the thing that you're most going to notice is your sensitivity to your alignment is going to be keener. Which means when you're in alignment, it's going to be sweet, but when you're not going to like it so much. It makes you more sensitive to what you're doing vibrationally. This sensitivity at first might be a little uncomfortable, but once you calibrate it, once you notice thought and feeling, and you get better at directing your thought, and what you discover that the better at directing the thought is not directing the thought, it's putting yourself in a position where you can receive the thought. It's a big distinction. Just decide that in this segment you're going to receive and that it's going to feel good. And stop thinking so hard. You know, when you think hard, sometimes after a gathering like this, you'll get together with friends who are here and who understand, and you just talk yourself into a hole. Just trying to figure it out. What'd you learn? Oh, I learned this and this and this. Well, just give it a rest. There are just a few things that you want to know. Do you accept that there is a vortex?
Yes.
Do you accept that your inner being is there and tending to it?
Yes.
And that everything that you want is all in the state of becoming?
Yes.
And that your work singularly is to tune into that?
Yes.
Well then, what's the big deal? What's the big deal, really? You know why you do that? Because you feel like you don't know this completely, but we do. You know it's there, you sense it's there, you sense it's coming, some of it's already coming, and there's a whole bunch of people in your life that haven't figured this out, and you're trying to factor how they feel about what you're doing into the equation. So then you're explaining it and justifying it and talking it to death and introducing so much resistance into your equation that you've got the whole thing all slowed down. When you open to this kind of energy, Esther and Jerry used to tease that they should put this on the disclaimer that you sign when you come in that says all the things that make this flow more easily. Oh, and by the way, you can't go back. You're going to tune in to who you really are, which means you're going to have to pay a little attention to staying up to speed with who you are, because you're not going to ever be able to stand not staying up to speed with who you are. Yeah. And so just be up to speed with who you are, and stop beating up on yourself and others, and stop needing the world to be different so that you can feel better, and stop needing your world to be different so that you can feel better. Just decide right now, under these conditions, I can feel good or not. That's all. Instead of saying, well, if these conditions were different, then I would feel better. That's how you introduce resistance to the equation. You can feel good. You can feel good. You can feel good. It's just a matter of directing your thought, and you're getting better and better at it. Now we're in the category of working too hard at this. And what are you going to do when somebody who knows you walks into your experience and delivers a problem that they've delivered to you on many occasions and expects a certain response from you? What are you going to do? Are you going to give them that response, or are you going to understand something different? But you know what that right there depends on? It depends on how tuned in you were when they came.
Exactly.
You got to get out ahead of it. Because if you didn't get out ahead of it, when they walk in, you're going to go right where you always go. But if you're tuned in, tapped in, turned on, then they look different. They're just cute. They're just cute. They don't really understand, but they're just cute. It's like someone's learning to walk and they're not very good at it yet, and they just fall down. You don't say, get up, you little dummy. You just let them find their balance. They're just cute. They're just cute. They're finding their balance, and they're watching you walk. That's why they even want to walk, is because they're watching you. They watch you be happy. They watch you chill out. They watch good things come to you. They watch you be easy about things. They watch you laugh heartily. They watch you change. They watch you evolve. You don't let them hold you to the old standards that you used to be at. This is the thing that Esther's understanding. She's talking to Jerry about it all the time. Okay, Jerry, I'm going to think about this the way you're now thinking about it, and I'm not going to keep that rule that we promised we'd always keep, okay? You have to let yourself evolve. And where you're evolving to is joyful moment. And just because somebody's eating out of the dumpster doesn't mean that you shouldn't be happy about your new red car. You really are hooked on, and it's all right, the reality. You want everything to fall into place so that you can be fully underway. And you started to tell us that everything's in place, and we're not talking about the physical characteristics. We're talking about being in the receptive mode so that you can receive the vibrational impulses along the way. Yes, you're following that? Well, here's the thing. We just want to say you're getting ahead of yourself. This is the conversation that is perfect for where you are, and it will benefit everyone. I want you to, just for a little while, contemplate the difference between thinking a thought and receiving a thought. So when you're over here in this action-oriented world where you're thinking and acting and speaking and thinking and acting and speaking, you sort of get accustomed to that, and you like it because you can see people responding to your words and to your actions. You can see that that gets some stuff done. We just want to leave this thought in your mind. It doesn't really get very much done. That's really low-level, mediocre creation if it's happening through your action and through your words. But through your living of life, you've asked for things, a lot of things. And those things have culminated in this vibrational reality that we often call your vortex. We want so much for you to accept the realness of your business already having been created, and all of those cooperative components gathered. And your inner being knows where those perfect people are, where everything that you want and need are and will be for you. And so your work has got to be singularly just one thing and one thing only. Don't get out there and look for people out here in this action-oriented world. All you'll do is find the wrong people. You don't want to find them through determination or through hard work. You want to find them through inspiration, which means don't look for them out here in what you're calling the real world quite yet. Let yourself know that they are in this vibrational reality and that your inner being knows where they are. So you have only one thing to do, and that is to tune in to that, which means get yourself in a place that you are consistently in the receiving mode, so that when your inner being offers you a thought and you receive it, or an impulse and you receive it, then you'll find better timing for yourself, and you'll find yourself in the middle of a conversation with someone where you will know that the source within you has helped you to find them and to choose them and to offer the words to them. You see what we're getting at? So many people gather people around them out of necessity rather than out of inspiration. And that's what we call getting the cart before the horse. So just trust that your desire has been noted over and over and over again, that your inner being knows precisely the nature of your business and who you're looking for. Your inner being knows things that you are not even quite ready to articulate yet, but enough for a really robust and wonderful business to get underway. You just got to get yourself in the mindset of receiving it rather than making it happen. Can you feel the difference in that? It isn't a difficult thing to conceptually understand how your world is working, how this universe works, and how your life is working. It's not very hard to understand once you get a handle on the fact that you are a vibrational being, and that when you think a thought, when you observe something, when you remember something, you are offering a vibrational oozing, and that the universe is responding to it, and what comes back to you matches it. And so there are two ways of knowing what that radiation is: oozing, radiating, dribbling, utterance. Doesn't matter what you call it. You are offering it all the time. So as you're offering it and the universe is responding to it, there are two ways for you to understand what's going on. One we call pre-manifestational. That's where you are aware of your mood, and so you know if you are radiating something that you're going to like when it gets here. And the other is to wait till it gets here. And we call one post-manifestational, and we call one pre-manifestational. And if we were standing in your physical shoes, we would want to get a handle on what we're offering vibrationally, which simply means you just have to understand your own mood. You just have to understand how you feel. And how you feel is because of this. Now, we're just going to give this to you. It's a big piece. And it's an important piece, and we're going to give it to you briefly because we know you mostly know this. But you are more than these bodies. You were non-physical energy before you came into these bodies. And as the part of you that you think is you came into this body, the part of you that most of you don't know is you stayed non-physically focused and is still aware of each and everything that you're focused upon. We call that non-physical part of you your inner being. And you, whether you know it or not, have an ongoing, moment-by-moment relationship with that inner being. You are an extension of it. You are co-creative partners with that inner being. You're out here on the leading edge exploring contrasts that your inner being doesn't explore. You are a pioneer for the purpose of motion forward, and your inner being is aware of you and is the stable part of that which is you. So when you in your body explore some contrast and realize that you don't want that, and therefore radiate a vibration, ooze a vibration, utter a vibration, blast a vibration, dribble a vibration, it depends on how important it is to you, of what you do want, your inner being receives that request, that determination, and factors it into all that you are. Another way of saying that is you just became more because of the contrast you lived. Another way of saying it is we all just became more because of the contrast that you lived. The universe just expanded. Now, you may not think it is very important because you're just having an argument with the person you live with. You might not think it's very important because you're throwing things at the television and shouting things into the atmosphere. You don't think it's that important because it just feels like little old you having a little old moment and some little old contrast. But every bit of it matters a lot.